How's it going, guys? It is officially 3 o'clock Eastern Time. My name is Jared Fuller, aka the Jared Bear. Today's date is Sunday, June 8th, 2025. So glad you could stop in and listen to me for about an hour. I'm not going to do a 2 hour long show like I did last week because, I typically don't do 2 hour shows, but I got caught up in some other bullshit that won't be happening again. So, I hope you're all doing well this week. Of course, you guys know um, I'm not really in the happiest of moods today. I'm still kind of sad and heartbroken over the loss of a young man named Lucas. Um, as you guys know, if you listen to the Daily Rant, Lucas had beat cancer. He rang the end of treatment bell and he was going about his normal life and doing normal kid things. And then the next thing I find out is that he was involved in an ATV accident. He wrecked his four wheeler and he died as a result of his injuries at the age of 14 years old. And ever since I had gotten word from a friend of the family. I'm not going to drop any names here, but I received word from a friend of the family, and my heart is still it hurts, because of course, I mean it's a 14-year-old kid. He beat cancer, and although his parents and I don't speak anymore because of the drama, the bullshit going on with my haters, um, my heart still goes out to that family and I feel so sad still. Um, I'm gonna try to get through the rest of this week and try to just go about my normal business and do what I normally do every week. Um, but that really, for me, was the big news of the week, and I still just I feel terrible. I feel awful. So my heart and my love and warmest of condolences go out to the Clonch family, to Herbert and Nicole, and to Lucas's brothers, and to the rest of the family who may be listening to this. Um, it's not about the past differences that I had with his parents. Now this is about Lucas and the fact that he's no longer with us, and the fact that I just have to carry on with my life. And I have no hatred towards the family. I never had any hatred towards the family, even when we stopped speaking, when we stopped communicating. I never had any hatred towards his family. Um, but I'm still really sad about what happened, and it's just it's horrible. It's a sad set of circumstances, and from here on out, I can only wish the best for his family and all the friends and people who loved him and people who followed his story over the course of however long he was in the childhood cancer world and fighting. Because by what I understood, Lucas fought cancer 3 times and he beat it all 3 times. But then he wrecked his four wheeler, and that's what had ultimately taken his life at the young age of 14. And I'm still just sad and sick to my stomach about that. But I do wish his family all the best, and I know, they're gonna have a long road ahead of them. They're never gonna get over that, um, but they're gonna have a long road ahead of them in terms of finding new ways to adjust and to live life and continue life without Lucas and the family, and, it's not easy. It's not going to be easy, but I certainly wish them the best, and I hope they're able to find peace, and I hope they are able to find a way that's comfortable. And I know comfortable is probably a word that you can't use in a situation like this, but to at least find comfort enough to move forward and to find ways of coping with the loss. Because grief never goes away, it's constant, it's always there, whether you want it to be or not, it sticks around. Um, I feel really terrible. I don't know of any other way to explain it. I can't emphasize enough how sad it is, um, that a young man who was just enjoying life and celebrating life and beating cancer and all of a sudden his life was taken from him because of a freak accident, something stupid that shouldn't have ever happened in the first place. Um, but shoulda, coulda, woulda doesn't really apply here because what's already done is over with. And now it's just trying to move forward and trying to figure out, you know, for the family especially. Lucas, he lives on in my heart. He will always live here. He's not going anywhere. And I'll always love him. I'm gonna miss him like crazy. I'm gonna miss seeing his videos on his channel, and um, I'm gonna miss listening to him talk and give updates on what's going on in his life. That's really the one thing I'm gonna miss the most. Um, but I am flying solo this week. Dad and Amy decided to take off. They went to a cemetery out by Alma, Michigan. It's called Seville Township Cemetery. Amy wanted to go and visit with her mom at the cemetery. She passed away some years ago, and that's where they are now. They're spending the day together. And I told Dad, listen, I can do the show by myself. It's not a big deal. Um, and of course, they can watch this through Amy's phone wherever they are. I don't know if they're still there or if they're on their way back. I have no idea or any way of finding that out unless, of course, Amy comes into the chat and tells us where they are and what's going on. Um, but yeah, I'm flying solo this week. A lot happened last week, as a matter of fact. Before I get to that, though, I'm gonna read off some comments in the chat. Chewing off my toenail, maybe he'll, you know, lift my spirits and pull me out of this funk I've been in since the news of Lucas Clanch in his passing. So, chewing off my toenail says, and I quote, whenever I notice a toenail growing out of my beautiful ham and cheese biscuit, it puts my heart at ease. Yuck. um, if I ever end up in jail, just know that my toenails will protect me. Okay. Um, I'm a happy guy when I see a toenail plant growing from the ground. I didn't think there was a such thing as a toenail plant, but okay. And then last but not least, he says, I'm sorry to hear about the young man and his accident last week. My heart goes out to his family. Thank you so much, Toenail, for the condolences through all of the humor that you bring every week. I certainly appreciate that. And of course, my heart goes out to his family too. Um, so there's a lot to go over this week. I got myself another car, set of wheels, bought it from a personal friend of mine, and I put so much money down, and I had agreed to make payments every month. So now I have a Ford Edge, and I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, Jared, it's a Ford. You don't want a Ford. I won't trust a Ford." Well, this is my situation though. See, I was without a car, and I needed something that would be reliable and fuel efficient and can get me from one place to the next and from point A to point B, as they say. I just needed a vehicle, and my friend just so happened to have that for sale, and he's working with me. He's allowing me to make payments. So I'm okay with that. I've already been to Saginaw with it. I went to my brother's house yesterday in Saginaw, visited with him and his neighbors yesterday, and it was a lot of fun. I had treated myself to Golden Corral while I was out there yesterday, and Dad and Amy went fishing yesterday because it is currently a free fishing weekend here in the state of Michigan. For those of you who probably weren't aware of that, but Dad and Amy spent some time together, and they were hanging out with some friends of ours that we've known for a while. So they all went fishing out in St. Charles yesterday. I was hanging out in Saginaw with my brother, and it was nice just to see him again and to catch up on lost time. And you know, it's nice to talk and get some things out into the open and hang out with some familiar faces, which was nice. It was cool. And I enjoyed it, and it was nice to come back home and tell Dad about it. And because it's I'm gonna be reasonable with you. I'm not gonna lie to you. It sucks not having a vehicle, not having ways of getting around. and I was going miserable just day in and day out staring at these walls. And it's like, I gotta get a vehicle. I gotta get the fuck out of here because it's getting to me. The sitting around nonsense is getting to me and I just can't deal with it anymore. So I went that route. And yes, it's a Ford. I understand Fords are not everyone's cup of tea. I prefer a Chevy, but it's a vehicle, it was within my price range, it's a set of wheels, I can just get in and go now. Everything's been transferred over, there's insurance on it, the plate and registration, the title, everything is legal, it's been switched over, and next month, I actually have to get my driver's license renewed, so that's gonna cost me a little bit more, um, but I am really, happy about getting another car, and it's a 2011. That's probably the newest vehicle I think I've ever owned. Or wait, was the Trailblazer? No, I think the Ford Edge is the newest vehicle I've ever owned. It's a 2011. I got, touchscreen radio and all that cool shit. I'm not used to that. I'm still trying to figure it out and navigate everything, but I got the backup camera, I got the backup sensors. Um, so yeah, it's a nice car, and I'm gonna do my best to take extra special care of it. 18-inch tires on it, by the way. Um, so and I have to get used to shifting it on the floor and not on the steering column because I've already made that mistake and ended up turning my windshield wipers on. It's like, okay, I forgot. Down here on the floor, that's where I have to shift it. It's an automatic transmission, by the way. Power windows. Yeah, it's really nice. It's really nice. The AC freezes you out, which I'm gonna love the, air conditioning, and I was told that those cars can get 26 miles to the gallon, which that'll work for me because I actually have some travel plans coming up, and I'm not gonna disclose them here, of course, or even on social media, but I have some plans, and I have lots of plans actually going on behind the scenes, under the table. Nobody knows what's going on, only me. So that's all you need to know. But in any event, yeah, I had a very busy week last week. Um, I was out at Pine Run last week, and that was a lot of fun. I always have a great time out at Pine Run Inn. And as a reminder, you can listen to the Fox Sunday Flashback tonight at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. There's a link to the website in the chat right now. And what you do is you click on that, and then you go up into the upper right-hand corner of the web page and click on Listen Live, and you'll get the Fox Sunday Flashback, but not until 7 o'clock Eastern Time tonight. 103.9 the Fox, 103.9 the Fox. That's the name of the station. It's in Flint, and you can listen it from anywhere in the world. And of course, I got to support my buddy Dan Richards. Dan is truly one of a kind. He's a really good friend of mine. And I definitely appreciate all he's done for me. When my mom passed away, he and his wife, Georgianne, showed up at the funeral home. Wasn't expecting that. But it was a very nice thing for them to do. Dad and I have helped them. I helped Dan quite a bit, with some things, but that's what friends do. We help each other. So Dan is a really good friend of mine, and I just adore his wife, Georgianne. She's a sweetheart. So listen tonight, 7 o'clock, 103.9 The Fox. It is the Fox Sunday Flashback with Dan Richards. So he plays classic country, classic rock, and southern rock, and all at your request at 810-230-9777, which spells out the call letters WRSR. So, um, I should get a job as a DJ. Hell, that's easy. I could get paid for doing something like that. Although I would have to be very careful and mindful and cautious of the things I say on the air, because what I say on the air at a radio station is not like YouTube where I can say fuck and shit and hell and damn and cocksucker and all those words. Um, but I think you can get away with saying damn on the radio. I'm pretty sure. I'd have to talk to Dan about that, but um, I'm pretty sure you can say hell and damn You just can't say shit, fuck, cocksucker, whore, any of those kinds of words. Um, but yeah, so there's a lot going on. And um this week I think Dad is planning on going out to the Pine Run tomorrow night, so I will be out there for the Monday flashback, which is not on the radio. It's actually just at the Pine Run Inn. It's the name of the bar. And Dad and I will likely be out there tomorrow night. So if you are in the area of Vienna Road, which is M57, and Saginaw Road, which is M54, Pine Run is right at the intersection. Across the road from there, you got Electric Chair Tattoo, and then you got a gas station kitty corner from there, and then you have another gas station behind the Pine Run. So, yeah, come on out. And if you recognize this lovely face, come up and say hi. Approach me and say, hey, I watched your Sunday video update and I really like it, man. Or you could tell me to piss off, or, even that would work because then I know that you're watching and paying attention. So, um, yeah. Um, Dad and Amy, like I said, they went out to Seville Township Cemetery. Amy wanted to go out there and pay respects to her mom who had passed away, and she's buried out there. So she wanted to go and visit her mom's grave. And it's nice that they get to do things like that. And because I don't need to be up their ass, so to speak, all the time. We do spend a lot of time together. We do things together. Dad and Amy, they always want to invite me into the things that they do. And it's like, you guys are a couple. You don't need me constantly in the middle all the time. And they're like, well, you're not in the middle. We want you to experience this. But the thing is, it's like when Dad and I go to the Pine Run on Monday nights, that's our thing. And typically they would go to the Owasso Speedway on Saturday because that's Dad and Amy's thing. But my cousin Damien wasn't racing last night, so they decided not to go to the races. So instead they went fishing. And of course, this is a free fishing weekend here in Michigan. So if you're not sitting here listening to me blab, get out and go fishing. If you're a resident of Michigan, go live it up, have fun. After I'm done with today's show, I have a couple of letters to print off to some cancer warriors, and then I'm going to listen to the Fox Sunday Flashback later at 7 o'clock. I don't know what's for supper though. I'm trying to figure out what sounds good for supper. I love Golden Corral. I said this before and I'll say it again. Golden Corral is like my favorite restaurant of all time, next to the Jade Buffet, which is Chinese food. But um, I had their they had tater tots there yesterday. I didn't know they served up tater tots, and I had mashed potatoes, gravy, chicken, tater tots, corn. Um, I had fish, and it's like, oh, I mean, now it even sounds good. It's making my mouth water, but it was really good. I enjoyed it, and I'm sitting there at the restaurant. I'm sitting in my chair like this. I'm kind of slouched down a little bit, and I'm like, oh. And the waitress comes around. Her name was Alicia. She came back around and she says, "Take all the time you need, sir. The food's good." She says, "I know the food's good." She says, "Take all the time you need." It's like, I'm full. I don't think I can eat another bite. She says, "Not even, chocolate chip cookies or ice cream or anything." It's like, no. It sounds good, but no. Um, I'm good. I'll pass on the dessert. I was really full from yesterday's food, but it was good. Golden Corral never disappoints. I don't leave there hungry. And if you do leave there hungry, well, that's a problem because they make just some of the most delicious food ever. They had barbecued ribs and um, just anything and everything you could think of. I think they had like a pot roast. They have rolls and biscuits and things there. Um, yeah, they just have everything, and my mouth, like I said, my mouth was watering just thinking about it and talking about it. Um, but I can't go back today. I can't afford it today. Um, I could afford it last or yesterday, but not today. Maybe again sometime in the future, I might go back to Golden Corral, but I don't see it happening like today or tomorrow. Um, but yeah, so I other than going to the Pine Run Inn tomorrow night, I'm not really sure what's going on. I don't know what's in store for the week. Um, I will say there was a cancer warrior who finished treatment yesterday. She took her final chemo, and I'd written to her, and the letter had arrived yesterday on the day that her chemo ended, which I thought was particularly special. And I was so happy. It's like, no kidding. So that's like icing on that cake, you know? And here I am talking about food again. Um, but it's icing on the cake. It's the cherry on top. Because when you follow a warrior's fight and what everything they go through, and you know what their conditions are, you know the type of cancer they have, and you know what's going on, and then suddenly you get to the final um, part of their fight, and then you think, "Oh, it's all worth it," because now you're writing to someone when you've been through that yourself, and you're relating to them, and when they read it and they get happy about it, and it's like, "Wow, he went through this too?" Yes, I did. So for me, it's very special, and I definitely appreciated that. So I had issues with my camera, my security camera on the front of the house out here. For some reason, it wasn't holding a charge, and the camera said it was busy. And so this morning, what I had to do was I had to take the step ladder, lean it up against the house, climb up the ladder, take the camera down, manually charge it, and then I had to remove the app and reinstall it. I had to remove the device and reinstall that, and I had to tinker with the son of a bitch for at least a good hour, and now it's back up and running again. So when I look at my phone, I should be able to see my driveway and my car parked in the driveway. So I'm gonna pull. Yep, right there it is. I'm gonna pull it up, and come on, come on. Oh, come on! Don't be stupid. There it is. There it is. Perfect. There's my car and the trenches that Consumers Energy had left in our front yard because they installed a new utility pole. So the pole that used to be here, according to the lineman, he said that it was installed in 1959. 1959. That's 66 years. And I couldn't believe it. It's like, really? It was installed in 59. It held up this long. He says, yeah, I'm really shocked that it held up as long as it did. Um, because the only thing holding it up, he said, was the wires. So I was just mesmerized. I was blown away. It's like, really? Like 1959, huh? But yeah, so 66 years. And, it's amazing how long treated lumber can last. And of course, it's a utility pole, so it has to be able to hold up for many, many years. Treated lumber will outlive people. If, consumers didn't put in the order to have that replaced, it would have held up for probably another good 20, 30 years. But they had gotten the order from Consumers Energy to replace the pole. I got to watch some of the work being done. The guys were in the buckets and they were being lifted up with a cherry picker, and it was interesting to watch. And because I've never seen that kind of thing before, so it was interesting to watch and to get a good idea of how they do things. And I watched them put the transformer up in the new pole. I watched them carry well, actually I didn't watch them carry the pole because dad and I were gone. And when we got back, then they were in the driveway. They were in our yard. That's what it was. So I didn't actually get to see them like put the pole into the ground. Um but I got to watch them, like, do stuff with the lines, and they were being lifted up in the cherry picker, and they were getting the transformer all situated, testing the transformer to make sure that there was sufficient power going through it, and, they said that there's gonna be a landscaping company coming out very soon to fix the trenches in our yard. So, and I'm currently friends with a lineman on Facebook. So he told me, he says, there are better ways of doing that without tearing up your yard. And it's like, I mean, I appreciate the tip though. I appreciate him pointing that out because he would know. He does that for a living. Um, but we haven't called. They said they were gonna send out a landscaping company to fix the repairs and or fix the damages rather, to repair the damages, if I can talk. But yeah, they'll be out sometime this month. So, but yeah, it's been a busy week. Um, I what else did I do? Yeah, I went to the Secretary of State. Had my now for those of you who don't know, here in Michigan, our DMV is the Secretary of State. We have to go to the branch office to renew driver's licenses and registrations and tags and to do all that stuff, the plate, everything. The Secretary of State is our DMV here in the state of Michigan. Um, and so that's where we go to renew our stuff and to get our vehicles legal. And yeah, and just taking care of business and going from there. So I'm just really happy to have a car now. I'm really ecstatic, and I'm still trying to understand the features of the car and trying to, because it's all touchscreen and I'm not used to touchscreen radios and all that cool shit, but it's really state of the art and I'm trying to get the hang of how to use it, and my air conditioning is amazing. I love the air conditioning. I have factory tinted windows. Um, so it's all good. What's this? Oh, someone tagged me on Facebook. My phone lights up when I get a notification on social media. But um, yeah, so it's been a busy week. I've been doing quite a bit, despite the fact that I found out the horrible news about that young man, Lucas Clonch. And I try not to keep bringing it up, but the problem with that is he was he was a kid who fought for his life and he beat it. He won, but then he found himself in another situation, which ended in his demise. And it's just a horrible, horrible thing. It's horrible, and I feel I just I'm heartbroken. Because I don't like to see things like that happen to kids, especially when he was just out having fun and living his life. Um, by what I heard anyway, or at least by what I understood from the unnamed source, um, the parents are actually being shamed because they let the kid go on, ride the four-wheeler by himself, and I don't know if he now I don't know the full details, so I'm not saying this is or isn't true, but the argument is they're being attacked and they're being shamed because they let him go on the four-wheeler by himself. Was he wearing protection? I don't know. I don't know if he was wearing a helmet. I don't know if he was wearing elbow pads, knee pads. I don't know. I have no clue. So I'm not saying that that's what that is, but I'm saying those are the reports, or that's what I've heard anyway, or what I've read. But I don't, I can't. I'm not the kind of person who's going to believe something just because I read it or because someone tells me. Like I have to see actual verification. I have to see the proof. Is that what's being said? Is that what's being spread around? Because even if it's being spread around, it doesn't necessarily mean I believe it unless there's actual evidence to back up the claim. I mean, you guys know how that works. And I don't want to bore anybody by talking about logic and critical thinking, but I'm a logical, critically thinking person, and logic never takes a nap. Logic is always, always, always there. But this isn't about the feud that his parents and I had. It's not. And I even pointed that out in the Daily Rant, the recent one that I uploaded to this channel. It's not about the feud anymore. Now this is about them trying to move forward and trying to live life and moving on without one of their kids. I mean, it's just an awful situation. I cannot imagine. Um, and my despite the fact that we're not speaking, my heart still goes out to that family, to the parents. I'm not some cold-hearted asshole who's like, fuck them. No, no, they still matter, and I still care. And my love and condolences go out to them, and I wish them the best. It's not going to be easy, but I think they'll be okay. They're going to be all right. Um, it's just sad living in a world when you know you're living in a world where one of your children doesn't exist. I mean, I just I'm not going to be the spokesperson for grief. I don't want to speak on behalf of a bereaved parent. That's always been my policy, and as an advocate for childhood cancer cares, I don't speak on behalf of a person's grief, particularly that of a bereaved parent. I don't speak out of turn because I have never had to walk in those shoes. However, I can talk about treatment, what I've been through, how it made me feel, the symptoms I had, and I can even talk about not wanting to get labs done. As a matter of fact, speaking of labs, I shared a video. Um, it was just the cutest thing. This little boy had to get labs, and he was so confident. He's like, "Come on, let's get this done. Come on." And he says, "Just do it. Just do it." And when the phlebotomist, when they put the nurse put the needle in his arm, he screamed a little bit, he cried a little bit, and he says, "That's what I'm talking about." And it's like, I wish I had that kid's courage when I was 5 years old. I mean, that just melted my heart. It's like, "You go, buddy." Hell yeah. I was terrified of that needle when I was 5 years old. I didn't wanna get that shit done, and here's this kid is. He's like, "Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Let's do this. Let's do it." As scared as he was, he got through it. And it's like, that's my dude right there. That's a guy to look up to, although he's 5 years old, but hey, we could all learn something from a 5-year-old. That was just remarkable. It was just incredible. And I had to share it, and it kinda brought tears to my eyes. It's like, "Man, you get it, dude. You get it." And he did. He got it. He cried a little bit, but he's like, "That's what I'm talking about." And it's like, "Wow, what a dude." So, I was really impressed. Um, yeah, there was something else I wanted to talk about, I think. Wasn't there something else I wanted to see, I come onto the live stream. I should really have an itinerary of things I wanna discuss. Um, I don't come prepared. This is all ad-libbed. So, when I come on every week, it's like whatever comes up in conversation comes up in conversation. Oh, yes, now I know what I wanted to talk about. I'm single, okay? I'm a single man. It is so hard now trying to find I'm not, and this is not a blanket statement about all women because I'm not anti-woman, I'm not anti-female or anything of that nature. I'm not anti anything when it comes to women. But the dating nowadays, the dating scene nowadays is just so incredibly and pathetically stupid. Um, what I've noticed on social media a lot, you get a lot of these women who are they're with these guys, right? Or they're married to these guys. And they upload TikTok videos that they also just so happen to share to Facebook. They wear short shorts, like booty shorts. They point the camera down towards their you know what. And the only thing that comes to my mind is you are a married woman. What kind of a wife takes a video or even I mean, okay, I see lots of women showing their cleavage on Facebook. They're married or whatever the case may be. I know what boobs look like, okay? But it's the fact of when you're a married woman and you're panning a camera down to your vajayjay in that general area, why do you find the need to do that? If you are a married woman, as a husband or even a boyfriend, I would be very offended by that if my woman was taking TikTok videos and panning the camera down to her business for the whole world to see. Why are you showing yourself off to the world when those parts of the body are meant only and specifically for the person that you're with? It's like these women have no respect, no self-respect. If I ever found out my girl, if I got a girlfriend or even married, which that's never gonna happen, but for sake of this argument, if I ever found out that my woman was taking video where she's deliberately pointing down to her crotch, then it's over. Because that to me shows that you don't even have enough respect for yourself, let alone your partner, to not do things like that. And then, and this is the kicker, when they do that, the husbands get offended. Well, why are you sending hearts to my woman? She's my wife and she's doing this and that. Well, maybe your woman should stop showing herself off and advertising herself in a way that comes off as eye candy to other men. Feeling beautiful and confident is one thing, which I love to see a woman married or married or not. If she's confident and comfortable enough and feels beautiful enough to present herself, with makeup or no makeup, it doesn't matter. And of course, like I said, I've seen boobs, so cleavage is not really doesn't do anything for me. But when you are a married woman or even just with somebody and you are you're panning the camera to parts that only your partner should see, that is lack of self-respect. Not only is it lack of respect for the person you're with, and that relationship with me would not last. It wouldn't last long. Hello, King Bob. Thanks for stopping by, buddy. But I've seen this all week. And then they get mad at the person who's drooling over their wives or whatever the case may be. Well, maybe they should stop advertising themselves in a way that is provocative and sexual in nature, and you wouldn't have that problem. I don't understand how and these women think that they are wife material. Meanwhile, they are taking video, TikTok video, and showing their private area, not directly specifically the private area, but they pan the camera down to their thighs, where you can see their upper thighs. They show a lot of skin. Who are you trying to impress other than the person you're with? That presents a problem. And I would only think at some point the husbands or the boyfriends or girlfriends or whoever they're with I would only think that their partner would at some point get tired of that. I know I would. If my girlfriend was showing off parts of her body and you expect me to be okay with that? Why do you find it customary to show the world parts of your body that only I should be the one to see? It's not, and that's the hypocrisy. It's not okay to tell a woman they're beautiful without the man finding out, but yet it's okay for the woman to show herself off in TikTok videos and expect everybody to be okay with it. That's part of the hypocrisy. And that's why I am currently single today, because I don't play those games. And I'm not going to participate in this nonsense where, what's good for the goose isn't good for the gander. Well, sorry, but it is. It's a double standard. It applies. And that might be something I talk about in a Facebook post. Why is it not okay to tell a woman how beautiful she is because she's afraid that her significant other is going to find out about it or read the comment and get all, insecure about it? But it's okay for her to show off other parts of her body that only her partner should be seeing and not the rest of the world. That's going to be something I think I might present on Facebook. Um, But I've dealt with that too all week, and there was a woman in Saginaw that she wanted me, like, wanted me, and I asked her recently, "When can I come and see you?" So she blocked me. I don't have time for games. And there's another girl that I'm talking to, she's let me put it to you this way. She's telling me, because we're just kind of we're not boyfriend, girlfriend, we're just talking. She says she's saving herself for a guy who lives in Texas. She lives about maybe 10 miles or so away from me. She can't leave her home, and I'm not trying to put her on the spot, but I have to tell specific details, and I'm not gonna give the name, so there's no fear of, you know, anyone's actual name being put out to the world. But she can't leave home because she's not mentally able to do that. She has to have someone with her at all times. But she won't date me, but she's going to save herself for a guy that she made up in her own head. He lives in Texas, probably doesn't even exist. She says that he's an Indian and he owns farmland. He doesn't exist. So she fabricated this great big story to get me to not have feelings for her because we're only supposed to be friend with benefits kind of thing. And mind you, I'm very selective on that kind of stuff. I don't just jump in the sack with anybody. I'm very careful. I take proper precautions. But it's another thing when you're going to make up some bullshit story, which I know is not true, because you can't leave your house without someone being with you, let alone you expect me to believe that there's someone in Texas waiting for you. That's a bunch of bullshit. And I'm not gonna play along with this fantasy. I'm not gonna compete with a fantasy that you made up in your own head. That's just not gonna happen. And I'm not gonna wait until you're proven right, because you can't prove yourself right. But I can definitely see, judging by what I see, I can definitely prove you wrong, and I'm not going to compete with this stupid fantasy that you've conjured up in your own mind. I'm not gonna play that game. Um, it's the thing with dating is just all over the place. It's a fucking mess. It's a wonder anybody in this day and age in 2025 can actually find someone to settle down with and try to make things work. It is a wonder that anybody can make a relationship last with the technology, having a colossal influence on all of us in the way we conduct our lives every day. It is it's just it is a mess. It is a disaster. And it is so much harder trying to find someone who might have an interest in me because now it's you got to have all kinds of money, which I don't. You got to, you know, be a good provider. You have to provide this life of luxury. With the way things are going nowadays and this economy that we live in and the way the world is going, there's just no way. There's no way. Um, that's why I have learned, and most people don't know how to do this. This is why I have learned to take comfort in the fact that I am single and don't have kids. Because if your heart is set on having children and finding someone to be with and start a family, this, that, and the other, and that dream doesn't come true, what are you left with? You're left with yourself. So, in the worst case scenario, when you're left with yourself and by yourself, you have to learn to get accustomed to being by yourself. You have to learn how to enjoy your own company. You have to learn how to enjoy silence and tranquility and go to the park, sit with yourself. You know, even if you have a journal or a diary that you write into, go to the park, write down your experiences. You know, you got the, and that's what I do. I write in a journal. I've been journaling for 25 years now. So, what I sometimes do is I go to the park here in town. I'll sit under the pavilion. I'll listen to the waves of the Shiawassee River, which sounds beautiful. And I'll write in my journal. I'll write my experiences. Oh, there's people out jogging. You know, people are bringing their kids down to the playground. Someone's walking the dog. People are fishing in the river. That kind of stuff. You know, it's um, not anything that's worldview altering. I mean, it's whatever you it would expect at a park. Um, but that's what I do. I learn how to enjoy my own company. When I was sitting by myself at Golden Corral yesterday, yeah, there were other people around me, but I had my own table. That was my own space. And I had 3 plates of food and it was good. Um, but I've already mastered the art of enjoying my own company. A lot of people don't know how to do that. I don't know if I could teach anyone how to do that, but I enjoy being by myself. Maybe it's just who I am as an individual. Even when I was a kid, I didn't like to be around a lot of people. I didn't like other kids when I was a kid because they were fucking assholes when I was a kid. And I tried to keep my distance from other kids. I didn't go to sleepovers. I didn't invite kids to my house, you know, like my school, you know, classmates or whatever. I never really did that. I kept to myself. And it's because every single time I've tried to make a friend, in some way or another, they have always betrayed me. So it's like, okay, I'm not going to subject myself to this kind of nonsense anymore where I'm the one who ends up getting hurt. So now I have to learn how to do things by myself. I want to do things on my own by myself, not rely on a friend or a companion. I'll just do it on my own. Now, I do have friends out there. I have friends galore. There are people who know me and people who know of me who haven't physically met me yet. But at the end of the day, I have to come home to myself. I come back to my own personal space. I come back home to my own privacy. I have learned how to enjoy that. And you know, being an introvert even when I was a kid, I didn't like I said, I didn't want to be around all these other fucking brats. I didn't like kids when I was a kid. Now that I'm older, it's like, you know what? They're kids. It's not their fault how they're raised. It's the parents who don't know how to raise their kids right. That's why they turn out the way they do. Um, so I'm old enough to understand that bit of it. but I also understand what it means to enjoy my own peace and quiet, my own time, my own company. See, whether or not Dad and Amy are here joining me, I'm gonna do the show. Now today, they're spending time together alone as a couple should, and even if it is a drive out to the cemetery, they're spending time together. And that's fine, it's whatever. But it gives me time to be here by myself and I can actually concentrate. Not saying I can't concentrate when they're around because they do help me a great deal when I'm doing these live streams, and sometimes I might lose track of what I'm talking about, or if I don't consider another way of looking at things, they will throw in their thoughts, and that'll help project, um, what it is I'm trying to say, or it will, help put it into perspective for the viewers just in case I forget to say something that may be of importance. So it helps having them here during the show, but I can also do this on my own. I'm also very quite capable of doing live streams without the help of Dad and Amy. Um, it's not to say I don't appreciate them. Of course, I appreciate them, but it's the fact that I can actually do this on my own. And despite the fact that I can hear my dog snoring, um, they're actually all sleeping right now. But the older dog, Barkley, he snores. So if you're able to hear that on the mic, that's Barkley. He snores his head off, but he's an old dog too. So, but I I enjoy being by myself, and a lot of people just don't understand the importance of learning to fall back on yourself instead of constantly being dependent on someone else for your happiness and whatever fulfillment you're looking for in your life. You should be the one to provide that fulfillment for yourself, first and foremost, because things are not guaranteed in life. You can fall in love with somebody, that doesn't mean you're going to be with them forever. There's no guarantees. There's only choices. And to save myself from the disappointment of catching feelings, as they say, for someone, and they decide they don't love me anymore, they don't want to be in my life anymore. Um, they want to move on and they want to find someone who may be able to provide more than what I can. See ya. It would it sucks. Yeah, it sucks breaking up is difficult. But for me, I'm like, "Okay, see ya. Pack your shit. Bye. I'll go back to living the single life and I'll enjoy it." And that's because I have learned how to accustom myself to the single life. When you've had pretty much your whole life to prepare for that, you kinda get used to it. And most people would say, "Well, Jared, nobody wants to be alone." Well, of course nobody wants to be alone. I don't wanna be alone, but I have to consider that. That is something that may be, because Dad's not gonna be around forever. Amy might not live here forever, depending on the situation, I don't know. But I have to accept the fact that I might be alone, and I have to be okay with that. And the reason I'm okay with it most of the time is because I'm not getting in trouble. I'm not getting caught up in someone else's bullshit. When I have nothing to do with what is going on in their life, I'm doing my own thing. I keep to myself. I'm doing my own thing. So, in other words, I'm the popular loner in my circle of friends. But the dating the dating scene is just it's awful. It's just terrible. And I can't for the life of me understand how even the men are okay with you know, with this idea that women are showing off their body parts and um I don't get that. I do not get it. I personally I wouldn't be okay with that. I would be telling my woman, you're either gonna stop this shit showing off your body parts like that, or you and I are through. because that's for me to enjoy. That's not for the world to, you're not eye candy to the world. You're eye candy to me. I'm your man. You should be doing that for me, not for the world. Hello, Kaleo. What's happening, buddy? I'm going to change the subject now because we got little ears listening in right now. I don't know how long he's been here, but Kaleo, good to see you, buddy. I saw the video that your mom posted in the what do you call that on Facebook? The storybook, I think it was storybook on Facebook. And dude, I just it's so great to see you, man. I love seeing you appear in the videos. I hope you're gonna upload some more content to your channel pretty soon because I love your channel. You have an awesome channel. And Kaleo, I'm gonna write to you again very soon. I have a couple of letters I gotta send out. One's going to Tennessee, the other one's going to Texas, but I will definitely write to you very soon. If Kaleo, if you enjoy my letters, do you like it when I write to you? I sure hope so. It's like a bright moment for me to write to you and cheer you up, and you know that's always been my favorite thing, just making people happy. You like it when I write to you, okay? All right. Well, you'll have another letter coming sometime this week, I promise. So keep your eyes peeled. And I do I want to say this publicly? Yes, I do. I still look forward to hanging out with you and your mom and dad one of these weekends. Just, planning a trip, coming to hang out, spend a weekend with you guys. Maybe we can make a collab video together. Maybe we can do like a crossover video for Kaleo Strong and, the Jared Fuller show. Maybe we can work on something and try to boost our subscribers and um yeah, maybe we can work on something. I don't know. We'll figure something out. But I think it would be really cool just to hang with you and your mom and dad for a weekend, or show me around. Where I don't want to give away where you live, like the state or anything, but show me around. Um, I almost blew it. I'm sorry, Kaleo. But it would, even if I come down for a visit for a weekend, kind of show me around and take me to that. You know what I really wanna check out, Kaleo, is that place that where your dad goes to, that restaurant where you get all that big plate of crawfish, I think it is, or gumbo or something like that. It looks really good, because your dad posts it a lot on his Facebook, and it's like, "Oh my god, that looks good." That would be a place to hit if I come down to see you, or out, or up, or over. I'm not trying to put out there which state you live in because, crawfish. See, I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot. It's crawfish. I just should have said crawfish. Um, I'm an idiot, Kaleo. Please forgive me. I hope my idiocy doesn't bleed over should I come and visit you. But, um, yeah, crawfish. Um, it's it looked really good. It looked really good. When I was in Louisiana, about 6 years ago, and it was the southern cooking is just, I love it. It's good. That snow crab salad that I had, off the hook. Oh, so I'm gonna end it on that note, guys, because we are already at the 4 o'clock mark. Uh, Snowed crab salad is good. That's how we're gonna end this week's live stream. My name is Jared Fuller. I appreciate you guys stopping in and listening to me blab for the past hour. I love y'all. My love and condolences to the Clonch family again. And I hope that you find ways of coping and dealing and trying to find, see you later, Kaleo, trying to find ways of moving on. It's not going to be easy, but I think maybe Lucas would have wanted that. So, my love and warmest of condolences to the Clonch family. I will be back again next week, guys. And don't forget, Fox Sunday Flashback tonight at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. Make sure you tune in. Love y'all. Peace. Take care.